aspects of yourself, if you keep infusing yourself with those energies, I think it's potentially problematic. You'll fall in some way. I don't really know what, but I think that's what happened in the 60s with LSD. You know, they weren't using it to enhance their life. You know, they didn't use the insights that they got on LSD to appreciate life more when they weren't high. They were just like, I want to go to this concert on LSD so I can like really like it a lot, you know, open up my mind and all that. They didn't stop and contemplate and be like, well, why am I not like that all the time? What is the difference between when I'm high and when I'm sober? You know, which is on meditation, you'll have, you know, a Satori experience, and it's like, well, why did that fade? Why did that go away? Like, how do I become that thing that I really like getting high about? And so I think they're awesome. They're just like any other tool. They're like Zazen sort of, but maybe even easier. But they need, you know, you need a teacher. And if you don't know how to tap your higher self as a teacher, then it's dangerous. You know, it's kind of like wandering around in the woods by yourself. So you gotta.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to say LSD for everyone, but you know, I think it's potentially an incredibly useful tool, if not just to get people to understand one-time thing, because a lot of this stuff is unimaginable from a certain reality tunnel, and so if you just show them that you can shift it even ever so slightly, then you've accomplished a lot. And I'm pretty sure that's why they're, you know, illegal. I don't know, but it's I think they're dangerous for some people. You know, if you're not the people that would never think of starting on a spiritual path and using them for a recreational thing, I think is just as insane as trying to get somebody that wants to be a millionaire and trying to get them to go do Kundalini yoga. It might work, and then they'll just be, they'll be crazy, you know. It'll destroy everything that they think themselves are, and it's just not a good situation. So it's I think they should be legal within a religious framework or spiritual framework. You know, it needs to be a path and not just this random thing, you know.
Yeah. My standpoint on it, if I may interject, is a slightly more reserved, because I actually knew someone who was a spiritual seeker. I know someone currently who was a spiritual seeker in the 60s, and was basically looking for like an Indian meditator who could show him the way. And his experience was that all of the stuff that went on with drugs actually hurt his progress a lot. And when he came to that spiritual teacher, who was Kirpal Singh, who's a teacher from the 70s in the Satmat tradition, and a legitimate mystic and real meditator, I feel, as well. And basically what he told his disciples is that it can cause cracks or holes in the astral bodies that you're supposed to travel in on the way up, the mystic ascent. And that, as you point out, is the danger of it, that if you encounter these things, that they can actually break your ability to open up to those planes on a natural way, in the natural form. And it may take longer, and it may require a lot more purification of body, mind, and spirit for the natural way to function. But inevitably, I feel like because it rids itself entirely of the dangers, that's more or less my standpoint on it. And I tend to believe that he was right about the cracks or holes in the astral form. And I've also read some certain psychedelic literature, like Aldous Huxley's Heaven and Hell, on his experience with mescaline. And the hell stuff, for me, is just too much. That stuff is, I just say, all right, I take your word for it, Mr. Huxley. I respectfully bow out, and I go for the natural position.
It's just anything that you do fast has, danger. If you're riding in a car and you crash, there's more implications for that than if you're walking down the street or on a bicycle. And so I think a lot of the same dangers that are associated with those are the same thing as somebody that wants to pursue something like Kundalini Yoga, which can cause a lot of the same problems that people get on LSD. They're changed forever afterwards, and they can't deal with life, and they have those, they'll have the persistent or the post-hallucination disorder or whatever they call that, from a meditative technique. And so I think that they've been used by cultures for 10,000 years. They're here for a reason. So that's why I just think that they're not inherently bad. What's bad is that we've divorced them from the knowledge of people before us about how to use them, probably without developing cracks, without
shamanic practice.
Yeah, they need to be. It just seems it's like a risk to me. I think it can be helpful for unclogging blocks, but it's like drain cleaner. You don't want to use it all the time to where your pipes are eroding. I don't.
That's a good analogy.
On mushrooms, so like I'm perceiving the stuff, and I've stopped liking doing it because I feel very threatened by going out there when that astral realm is it's the framework within which the physical realm manifests, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
It's like the foundation for it. So when you're out there manipulating both, there's a potential that something could happen at a higher thing that can cause like a huge switch down here to where it can cause car crashes, somebody going crazy, so like you can kind of get involved in a war where it spills out down here. And it does feel like we all have allies, and it is us up there fighting. We just, we're up in the astral realm right now, so we're involved in this war that they're talking about, so to speak, and that whole as above, so below type thing. So if stuff's getting crazy here, then it's probably
crazier up there.
Batshit insane, one level up, So there's probably all kinds of stuff going on.
That's a really good point, and I feel like that's what is so beautiful about the great chain of being, not just on the material plane, which a lot of people talk about, but when you start to extend it is here and now, and we are actively involved. And it's the danger of mind, again, greater mind. If you can't pass beyond greater mind, and you can't pass beyond those forces to the realms of pure spirit, say, where that stuff doesn't happen anymore. And there's actually,
I think as you go higher up, you're more and more aware that it's, you're just sort of having a play action go on.
And if you notice these intermediary, I mean, isn't this what Kepler calls the intermediate zone? On the way to the source.
I don't know. I haven't read that, but that's what it sounds like.
Shenzhen Young calls this stuff the realms of power, because it can get you like psychic, healing can occur, messages, channeling, all that stuff.
Right. And that's what's so dangerous too, is that when you start to actively be involved on this level, on this plane, and you're healing or you're doing whatever, it's more of the karmic thing. I don't think that we're freed from karma, and so we're really beyond and in union with the source in a sense.
The higher you get up, I think the more you're actually the difficulty of the video game increases. So missteps will cause.
Right. Exactly.